All right, we are here in Charlottesville for the 2023 NCAA Cross Country Championships. Chris Chavez with Isaac Wood. Let's break down this men's individual title race, which is maybe the most wide open in recent years. Yeah. We don't have an Ed Cheserek type figure who you can immediately say, all right, that's the favorite. No Kennedy Kathuka, no Lowie Lalang. I know I'm dating myself to the YouTube audience, right. But this year there's a ton of names in contention. Let's focus on maybe the top 5 heavy hitters. So who are you putting into that category, Isaac?
Yeah, I mean, Kai Robinson, of course, wins the 5 and 10 outdoors. You're going to be in that conversation. Graham Blank's undefeated all year. One Nutty. You got to look at Graham. You got to look at Habtom Samuel from New Mexico, who's got the best track tops of anyone in the NCAA and has run out of World Cross Champs. You got to look at Nico Young, who is the leader of my pick to win. And then on top of Nico, there's a mix of others that you could consider. Kiprop or Chariot from Alabama would be 2 others that I would kind of put into that conversation.
All right, so a course like this, it's going to be warm. Does this honestly favor the likes of Habtom Samuel? Remember earlier in the season and on the podcast we joked, can Habtom Samuel run in the cold? Well, guess what? That's not going to be the case here. So for him, someone who has thrived at World Cross Country Championships, this course probably maybe a little bit easier than the one out in Australia. Right. How are you sizing up his chances?
Yeah, I do like his chances here. It's going to be a warmer day. This is more of a true cross country course than we typically see out. I mean, Oklahoma State's last year was definitely one as well. Footing's not quite as easy. It's going to be a little more of a difficult challenge in terms of that too. I just don't know how much of a rhythm you can get into here. I think there's parts that have some rhythm elements to it, but then there's going to be some up and down to it. So this is a course that will favor him. Now the question is, can he? Well, how does he do it? Like
experience.
He's never been at the NCAA. It's not Worlds, so maybe Worlds is a bigger stage, but this NCAA has a different, unique feel to it. There's 8,000 people that are going to be here. There's nowhere to park, right? It's impossible to get in here. And
sold out.
It's sold out because we just drove in here. It's impossible. Like, we get it now, right? And so I think that, how does he handle that level of pressure? And how does he have to run to win the race? Well, how does he have to run? He has to win it from the gun. He has to just say, I've got the best speed, I've got the best fitness, I've got the best, overall body of work in my life up to this point. So I'm going to go at it from the gun. I'm going to go 2:30 for the first 1K, and I'm going to see who can hang with me. That's how Habtom Samuel has to do it to win this thing.
I mean, we just picked up on it. The first mile is going to be quick.
Yeah.
How does that thin out the lead pack right from the get-go?
It will. I think a bunch of those dudes will go out and just hammer this thing and just see who can hang.
4:30?
I could see 4:20.
Faster. 4:20.
I could see 4:20. I could see 4:15. I could see. I mean, it's
no
it's
sub 4 though.
We're not saying sub 4 because that would just mean that the mile mark was wrong. But
it's cross country.
Exactly right. Cross country times don't matter, right? But I do think that you have to think that if you're Habtom, you have to get out and hammer it.
Who goes with him? I mean, all those heavy hitters we mentioned.
I think Kip and Gedich and Moose from Oklahoma State will go with him. I think Patrick Kiprop of Arkansas goes with him. I think Chariot and Kiprop from Alabama will go with him. I think there will be guys like Nico and Graham who will maybe hang back and just be a little more patient. I think Graham ran Nuttycombe a little bit like that. Like, he kind of worked his way through. He wasn't out of it. And you have to be able to listen to your instincts of, okay, how far is so far out that I can't catch them? Or how far is close enough that I feel confident I can get them? And that's just going to be a mid-race decision that some of those guys are going to have to do in order to see if they can actually, make the move necessary in the middle of the race to come and get somebody. Because we joke about it being fast and going out from the gun and whatever, but it's a 10K. Like, 8K, it's just, you're looking at 6 minutes less of running, right? Or maybe more like 5:45 less of running up front. So it's much more time, much more. You're gonna have to just really be fitter in order to handle a 10K. And so we'll have to see what training has looked like for some of these guys as well. Are they prepared for 10K? You would think that they will be, but that will play a role, I think, for what I think is that chase group.
All right, so you said you're leaning towards Nico Young.
Yeah, I like Nico.
he's kind of had this thing where it's like the monkey has been on his back,
I know,
right?
poor kid.
Coming to these championships. Some of these people in our Instagram comment section are savages and ruthless when it comes to just like debating, you know, who's going to win this race. And Nico got the brunt of some of that. But I guess like for him, he's I guess like it's a championship. You can't say someone's due. No one's owed a championship, but he's got the experience. Why are you feeling the way that you are?
Yeah, I you know, there is a certain level of drama involved in these races, and a certain level of these narratives and storylines that I think they write themselves by what I think occurs in these races for some of these athletes who've been in it for a long time and do feel like they're due. I think Nico Young is due. Does that mean obviously that it's a guarantee? No, it doesn't. But I think there's a certain level of hunger and grit that you have to have when things get tough in this race, because it gets tough for everyone at some point. Some people it's a K, some people it's 9,800 meters in, I don't know, but there's a certain level of toughness that you have to be able to find within yourself, a certain level of purpose, running for some sort of higher purpose that you have to find within yourself to really dig deep and and have a chance to win and run well. I think there's no one more motivated than Nico Young.
Are people sleeping on Kai Robinson a little bit? Because it's sort of, he hasn't had the flashiest season so far. He didn't come away with the win. He was close at Nuttycombe, but we're forgetting this guy won the 5K and the 10K at the outdoor championships.
Well, and he had a long summer as well. So I think we can get excited about Nuttycombe. I think Grand Blanks deserves all the credit he's getting for being a guy who should be a favorite. But does how you look at Nuttycombe on October 14th really matter? It does a little, because you want to see how someone races, how competitive they are, how gritty they are. But man, it's been a month since then, a month of time to gain even more fitness and the trajectory that I think Kai is on. I think he's going to be more ready and more fit than he was a month ago. And I think that he was in a bit of a deficit compared to everyone else based on just where I think his season started and where his training was along at that point.
You know, I've been high on Grand Blanks since before Nuttycombe.
Right.
Didn't have to try all that hard to win the Ivy League championship. Regionals at VCP took care of business while wearing trainers. He's had, I guess, an easier path to this championships. What's the case for Grand Blanks?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know if an easier path is maybe the right way to put that, because I think he did have to win Nutty. But the last two races he's run, he was able to control it, and he didn't have to feel a lot of pressure.
You don't see him in that position this time around. Like
he's not going to control this thing.
Not with the
no. He's going to have to be 5th through 10th and just be patient on those guys who are going to hit it from the gun, because it's hot, and I think people are going to be feeling themselves early.
He's from Georgia.
Yeah, he's from Georgia, and I'm not saying he can't handle that, but maybe his adaptation to heat and humidity might have gone down a little bit, having lived in Boston, in Massachusetts for the last several years. So, but I think he has to be, like I said earlier, he just has to trust his instincts of, okay, how far out are these guys from me? What do I think I can handle? And he's got to listen to Gibby. Gibby's going to be on the course telling him what to do. He's an experienced coach. He knows how to get it done. He's helped his athletes prepared to run really well when it matters. He needs to be able to find Gibby and listen to him and help him get an idea of, okay, how many seconds back am I from these guys? Can I handle a 10-second lead? Nope. Okay, maybe I need to throw in a little surge here for the next 400 meters to kind of tighten that thing up to maybe 4 or 5 seconds. Those kind of things. So,
all right, prediction time. Let's go top three then.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep track of that.
It is. There's a lot of dudes.
All right.
There's a lot of dudes.
Who do you have in third?
It's funny when you talk it out like this.
Yeah.
It changes your mind. You know, you like reconvince yourself. I think I'll go Nico 3.
Okay.
I think I'll go.
What just changed 2 minutes ago?
I really like Kai. I convinced myself that Kai Robinson is him. So I just spoiled that. So I'm gonna go Nico 3. I like Habtom Samuel 2nd, and then I'm gonna go Kai for the win.
See, I disagree with these. I'm going.
Good. I'm glad you do.
I'm gonna go Kai 3, Nico 2, and I'm sticking with my guns. Grand Blanks.
All right, let's go, baby. I like that. I like that a lot.
There you have it. That is the men's individual title predictions from both Isaac and myself. The best way to enjoy that race, which you can watch on ESPNU, is to literally pick any of those 5 guys, and you've got a horse in the fight. So that's how I encourage people to watch that race in particular. It's going to be electric. So tune in on ESPNU, and someone is going to be right. Someone's going to be, or we might be totally wrong.